our session partner keynote address, for which I would like to invite on stage Ms. Monica Gangwani, Executive Director, India Advisory Services at EVERSANA, APAC. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Gangwani. If we're clapping, let's do it with all our heart, yes? Warm welcome to you.
Please have my presentation. Okay, good morning everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here amongst all of you. I can see a lot of familiar faces, some friends, some colleagues, some clients that I've been working with for almost, I think, 20 to 30 years now. So pleasure to be here, and thank you so much OPPI for inviting EVERSANA for this session. So it's a very interesting topic that we have, that we're all discussing, a subject that's close to all our hearts, which is the evolution of healthcare and the future of healthcare in India as we move 25 years ahead, as the Prime Minister described it as the Amrit Kaal for India. So I'd just like to share a small video that we've prepared, and this is something that is just going to open our eyes to what are the possibilities that we can see globally as well as in India. As I was preparing this presentation, I came across these videos and I thought we should put it together. So I'd just like to share that first before I get into my keynote. So yeah, now the present. So now as we look into the future 2047, I want us all to imagine that now we are in the year 2047. What is it that is going to be facing us? What are going to be the pillars on which the health ecosystem is going to be based upon? So we've identified 4 pillars, as we've been working on this. The first pillar being the most important thing. I think the speakers before me have also talked about this, which is access and affordability for everybody. That's one of the key pillars that the healthcare ecosystem of the future is going to be based upon. Advanced disease management. We are going to see a lot of evolution in the way diseases are going to be managed, and I'll talk more about this. And from the stakeholder perspective, we are going to be seeing a lot more of a patient that is going to be highly empowered, and a doctor or an HCP who's going to be having a completely different face and a new face. So I'll just quickly cover each of these and what we are going to be seeing in 2047 or in the future. So when we talk about access to all, we are expecting that there is going to be remote monitoring, there's going to be remote care for everybody in India. And that's the kind of vision that we have for the future. We are talking about reimbursements for innovative and novel therapies, and we are also talking about innovative patient access programs that companies should be launching for patients for the future. In terms of advanced disease management, we are thinking that there will be certain diseases that are going to be completely eradicated. That's what we are hoping, and that's what we are working towards. There will be new and new pandemics that will come into the country and into the world, but we will also be seeing a lot of eradication happening. There will be 3D printing of organs, robotic surgeries. These are new things. These are things that are happening today, but these are things that are going to evolve even better in the near future. We are going to be seeing prevention. A lot of new vaccines are going to be coming into the market. We were talking about a vaccine for TB. We know now cervical cancer, there are vaccines that are available, and a lot of diseases in the future are going to be preventable by the vaccine launches, and we are hoping to eradicate those diseases. When we talk about the empowered patients, we are looking at patients who are seamlessly connected with the whole healthcare ecosystem. People are going to have probably implants within their body that is going to be connecting them with their healthcare professionals and with the hospital ecosystem. There are going to be electronic medical records, and Meenakshi talked about this, saying that, today these things are not there, but we are working towards these things, and I'm sure that by 2020, 2047, these are going to become some of the realities in our country. What's going to be the new face of the HCP? The way we are going to describe HCPs now are they're going to become medical engineers. All of the doctors will now have to become extremely tech savvy. We are expecting that they will have digital avatars of themselves. So there are going to be consultations with avatars who are going to have the voices, which are very real, like human voices. Your initial discussions will happen with these GP or the HCP avatars. If the GP avatar is not able to solve the problem, then probably there will be virtual consultations, and only if the problem is not sorted with a virtual consultation will we then have a face-to-face consultation. So we are thinking that moving ahead, there's a lot of changes in the way we are going to be interacting with the physician of the future. I'm not sure if you can see that there, but there are a few enablers that we put here. One is the affordable innovation, collaboration that I think a lot of the speakers before me have also talked about, technology, which is underpinning all of this, because without technology, we don't think any of this is possible, and of course, policy interventions. I'm quickly just going to, speak a minute on how did we get there, and I don't think I need to share this. This is the industry that has actually made this happen. But I would look at two inflection points in the last 25 years. One of them being in 2005 when India adopted the product patent regime, and a lot of innovation, came into the country. We saw a lot of innovative products launched. We saw MAPs coming in, biologics. In fact, now we are also going to be seeing the launch of CAR-T therapy in India. So a lot of innovation thanks to us adopting the product patent. The other inflection point for us, of course, everybody is aware, was COVID, where we saw the total dynamics of the healthcare system change. A lot of digital tools, adoption, consultations happening, the whole setup of the healthcare ecosystem. So these two have been the main inflection points. We also saw a lot of policy interventions through the government, the Pradhan Mantri Yojana that came into the country, the NRHM, the NUHM, all of these programs, COVIN, someone spoke about earlier. These are all initiatives that have laid the groundwork, for innovations and activities in the next 25 years. So, few questions that we at EVERSANA, when we were working on, what the future is going to look like, thought that we need to pose to the industry, stakeholders as to what are the questions that we need to answer. How do we balance this whole impetus, that we're looking for in innovation with cost? Because in India, we all know that cost is an extremely important driver. And if we want people to adopt new therapies, new products, then the costing definitely has to be right. So how do we balance the two? How do we bridge the gap between intent and the required infrastructure? So definitely today we know that there is an intent to bring in all this, but how do we provide the right infrastructure for this? How do we strengthen and support India's healthcare workforce? We know that it's an already stressed workforce, whether they are doctors, whether they are nurses, they are support staff. There is a lot of pressure on India's healthcare system. So how do we support, India's workforce? How do we leverage technology and ensure that we build on the digital disruption that we are seeing today? And finally, how do we enable the spirit of collaboration across all stakeholders? And I think this is one of the important things for which I thought a separate slide is definitely needed, where we are talking about, we need to have collaboration between the various stakeholders, whether it is the government and the startups, whether it's futurists and research scientists, corporate and academia and industry and policy makers. So a lot of collaboration is something that is in the order of the day. Yeah, and last slide that I've put here is, you would have seen that all the earlier slides were in blue, but I thought I'd present my final, message of my keynote with this slide, which talks about, Meenakshi talked about ABCD, and, we at EVERSANA put together something called the pink of health. And, whenever we talk about health and well-being, if it's good, we say we are in the pink of health, right? So I think that there's some hidden acronym in the word PINK. And so you can see what we've put here. So when we say P, P means proactive and predictive. So that's what we're thinking that the future of healthcare is going to be. It is going to be empowering patients to be able to identify diseases well in advance so that they're able to ensure that they get the right treatment. I stands for inclusive, which means ensuring a balanced focus on digital transformation, workforce management and community support. N stands for new frontiers, that India being the pharmacy of the world, how can we go out there and expand even more and become even more self-sufficient. And last but not the least, when we are talking state of the art, we should not forget state of the heart. Because at the end of the day, we are all humans, we are here to help each other. So kind-heartedness, which is what K stands for, is something that we really need to work with. So thank you so much, and pleasure once again to be talking to all.